Justin, we beat it. We beat it. We were waiting on Jacob. To be fair, Harry and I were here. We were here. We were waiting on Jacob, and he's actually here. So,
to be fair, it's almost always me or Christina that we're waiting on, and so Seth is almost always on time.
To be fair, it's almost.
Is that me?
No, that was me loading up the YouTube chat.
Alrighty. Yeah, guys, we're here a little bit early. We should be having another guest joining the show here in just a little while. He's got the link. We're just waiting for him to pop in. But in the meantime, guys, happy election day. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this evening, we've got Jacob Terrell, the one, the only Harry Austin. We are United Front. Christina is not with us this evening. Christina is traveling. So we wish her a safe and easy flight. I know apparently things are quite rough with TSA currently. So hopefully things went well for her. I'm going to be traveling in a couple of weeks. So I'm really hoping the TSA situation is figured out. Jacob, do you have any insight on this?
No, I had no idea anything was going on. So good luck.
Okay. Well, with government furlough and all that kind of stuff, and now apparently TSA may potentially be striking. And anyway, apparently at some airports there are multiple hour delays. People just trying to get through security. So I don't.
Where are you flying? Where are you going through?
I'm going out of here to Philly. So
I don't think going out of Albuquerque will be that bad.
No.
But coming back, going through Philly, pack a lunch.
Right. It might be a minute. Mama Christina says, Christina, delayed flight, hopefully on final leg. Okay, great. No, thanks for the update. Do appreciate that. Looks like something's changed with YouTube. We're now seeing people's usernames at their usernames instead of their actual names.
It did that last week, and then it did it like towards the beginning of the season. For some reason, it was like that for an episode or two. I don't know.
Yep. Oh, well, YouTube's going to YouTube. Folks are already over in the chat. Justin, Mama Christina, Luis, Josh, thank you guys all for being here so far. Justin's got a shot here for you, Harry. Dos a cero.
Hey, we caused El Paso's coach to get fired. I'm pretty convinced of that.
Yeah, would not be surprised at all. We've got, today's been a wild news day. Today and yesterday, a bit of a wild news day for USL Championship, and we'll get into all of that. But I mean, first and foremost, obviously, there was playoff soccer over the weekend. New Mexico United hosting San Antonio FC, and we gave our predictions last week, and we wanted to make sure that Harry was back with us here tonight to go over this. And Harry, we do appreciate you hopping on with us. And as this did affect, both clubs coming in over to New Mexico, you talked about how difficult it is to beat a team 4 times in a season.
Evidently not.
Turns out not that difficult, actually. Pretty easy.
Yeah, it just might be
the easiest one, right?
Yeah,
compared to the other matches. This one was like, it's over.
Yeah, this was a match, and honestly, I don't think San Antonio necessarily played poorly, but
yeah, they did. Well,
you think so?
San Antonio played how San Antonio has played the last third of the season, half the season, however you want to call it,
minus the last game.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it. That's I honestly think Wilmer got fired because San Antonio hadn't scored in 5 games prior.
Yeah.
Didn't score against New Mexico and didn't even look like they were really going to score in any of the matches. And yet against El Paso, they scored 5.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was our question coming to this. What offense shows up? What San Antonio shows up? And I think at one point, listening to Tyler and Chris on the broadcast, at one point, San Antonio went 30 minutes without a shot. Or maybe it was a shot on target, one of the two, but and United certainly had those stretches. And what was it was it something United did right at the back? Was it just lack of creativity for San Antonio? What caused that for them?
Well, for San Antonio, they don't have speed. So they try to go over the top. and we talked about it in our chat. We're going to have our show tomorrow for it here in New Mexico. Unlike El Paso, that allowed the ball to go over, New Mexico clamped that down. Like any balls that were attempted to go over, past the midfield over the defense, the backline of New Mexico was all over Patino or whoever that they were trying to get it to. And if San Antonio can't do that, they're not breaking down, somebody in the box outside of getting a penalty or something along those lines. They just, for whatever reason, do not have that ability to do it. So yeah, San Antonio had 6 shots total. They say 4 on target. I don't really remember 4 quality shots, but
I think 3 of them Shakes, like it was right in Shake's breadbasket, and he just swallowed it up. The one that I posted a video of today for preview or advertising for the show tonight was the only like save he had, and it was a beauty. But yeah, they were all pretty soft. Besides that one,
yeah, just it's, and that's the frustrating thing about as a San Antonio fan is like the defense. They gave up 2 mistakes, and they got punished for it, and New Mexico punished them for it. But San Antonio just could not figure out, and it wasn't just against New Mexico. Outside of the El Paso match, they went 5 games without scoring before the El Paso match, and it's going to be an interesting offseason for San Antonio. And I know this isn't a San Antonio show, so we won't go into details on that, but I don't think Lamosa is getting fired by any means because he was just hired last year. He did make the playoffs, which is something that they didn't do last year. But as far as for the season, and I think this is something that I think like Phoenix, San Antonio, like you got to throw Sacramento in there now. Just the perception of them being the heavyweights. When you really look at it, they're not. And I'm not saying Tulsa's the new heavyweight, by any means, but Sacramento, you got to ask questions because another early out in the playoffs, which we all predicted.
I've been asking Sacramento questions for a couple years now, so you don't have to tell me twice.
But at some point, you have to be, you have to kind of like, yeah, because they didn't win the West. They underperformed throughout the season, like the rest of the West. I think the only team that didn't underperform would be Tulsa, and I think that's just because Tulsa's history to where, hey, Tulsa's going to Tulsa, but Tulsa never Tulsa'd this year. So, but like Phoenix, San Antonio from years ago, New Mexico's been fairly consistent, but New Mexico, at least up until this point, has not been able to deliver in the playoffs. Now they have got playoff wins before, second time over San Antonio. So you guys are still undefeated in the playoffs over San Antonio, and the head-to-head record, I think you guys are at +6 now. I think if I pull up Thought Mob, because you guys were up 4 or 5 matches before. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, out of the playoffs matches, the San Antonio, New Mexico one was the only multi-game winner.
Yeah, that it was. And going back, you talked about 2 mistakes by San Antonio, and realistically, I only saw it as one. So like here, you've got the save by the keeper, makes the punch on it, and not necessarily a great touch to it.
No, he's got to save that, dude.
Yeah, he's got to. No, I agree. He's got to
save that across. You can't allow that to cross.
No, you can't. And you got the defender there as well. Like it's just a poor touch there. Mukwele Akali in the right spot at the right time. But then you go for it and you look at the second goal, the one here by Valentin Noel. I mean, the ball in from Keller, is just really good. And this isn't, to me, this is not a mistake. That's good positioning by the defender. It's a tough angle, go back across the face of the goal with the right foot for Noel. And I honestly have no idea how he got it around the keeper. But
Noel was asked about that in the presser, and I've got the video here queued up just of that answer. I think it was something that they, the keeper, he was trying to get it, and he just, it was Well, here, I'll just let him talk about it.
Yeah, well, we try to work on this plays. When you play 5 against a 5 in the back, it's all about moving those 3 defenders at the proper time. So I see Greg coming and dragging one. I see Kip coming with the ball, and so it's like, kind of like going through the space, and he plays me a good ball. I get a good first touch in, and I'm able to finish. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, so he talks about the game plan there of pulling people out of place, and Hurst makes a run, and he capitalized. I thought for sure Dolenmeyer was going to get to it with his damn go gadget legs, but Kip with a perfectly placed ball, and like Noel said, a great first touch. I don't see a whole lot of fault there on anybody in particular, and the finish was, I mean, picture perfect.
Yeah, it was good finish,
but I think there was more like the Seth. You had. I think it showed it earlier, but the stop that Sanchez makes on Zico on a ball from Harris is more of a breakdown defensively than that second goal is for sure.
I forget who had basically an open net and skied it.
Akale did.
But to me, and like mistakes to me is like, just where the defense just got beat out of positions. Now, Noel's goal was class, but as a San Antonio fan at that point, we were like, we're not coming back. It's just it was what it was. Even as a San Antonio fan, at no point did you think that they were coming back unless New Mexico got called for a penalty in the box. That was the only shot I think San Antonio had. But all credit to the referee. I thought he was pretty fair and balanced. He wasn't card happy. Like I said here, I think fouls wise, I think it was pretty even discipline. 12, 9, we had 19 fouls, 12. We only got carded once. You guys got carded twice. So he kept the cards in the pocket. The game was chippy, but it wasn't dirty chippy, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
and unfortunately, we do not have that same ref for this coming match. We have the one and only Elton Garcia, and so probably not going to be the case again this week. But we'll talk about that later on in the episode. Yeah, I thought it was pretty much it was the least dramatic match that United has had in a long time. And I really thought that it was probably our best match played of the season. I mean, we had the Detroit City match, but
or is it that San Antonio doesn't, with the current how the makeup they are, because they don't have speed, and they're very one-dimensional, where it goes through Jorge or the center backs try to go over the top to Patino. If you shut that down, there's not a lot left for San Antonio FC to do.
But you say that and you're correct, but we played you guys 3 times before this weekend and had given up 6 goals. And so something was working for you somewhat, for those 3 matches at least. Now, admittedly, like you said, you 5 scoreless before El Paso, so it's been rough go of it for you guys lately. So that could have something to do with it. But I was impressed with this was my first game of the season that I've really stood behind Shakes in goal. Usually I'm at the attacking end for the content, but to see how that back line kind of controlled your guys' attack and communicated well and dealt with the press, especially. I thought the press might get to us there, especially a couple times you guys came close, but it was just like Andy said over in the comments just now, 2 solid 45 minutes.
Yeah. Which
I think there's been stretches of play that we've played better, but as far as a complete 0 on the clock to 90 plus minutes up on the clock, we didn't shut off. there wasn't really even a stretch of time where I was like, oh man, they're really putting it to us here. And so whether you chalk that up to San Antonio not having an offense or us just controlling the match, I think I don't think it's either one of those two things. I think it's a combination of both. I think the guys were really well coached and well prepared going into this match, and knew exactly what San Antonio wanted to do. And San Antonio just frankly looked lost a lot of the time when it came to that stuff. And Space Kid, I'm so glad you're here, because your boy Gideon is, I think, is probably like one of the biggest turnarounds of the last few matches, because he was atrocious for a stretch there in the middle of the season. But I was telling some of the guys that I watched the game with when I'm down on the field, all season he's been super silky when he's been on the ball. Like his turns, that one where he'll be like running like with a defender on his hip and he just does a complete 180 and goes back the other way. Like it's unstoppable. Like the defender knows it's happening, and yet his decision making was poor in the middle of the year. He just didn't seem like he was comfortable in his role, and boy does he seem comfortable now. And it's made a huge difference that if you go to that first ball or that first goal, Zelalem is involved multiple times, and then he's the one that turns and finds Noel streaking through space in the middle of the pitch with a perfectly weighted pass that, it goes to Gideon, to Noel, to Hurst, and then of course Akali finishes it. So just, fantastic play by Gideon. And I don't blame you for disappearing for a while, Space Kid. But I'm glad you're back, because when you're back, that means Gideon's playing well. And so thank you.
Yeah, no, Gideon's he's looked better the last few weeks, and you'll give him credit for that. I don't know what's changed for him, but when he's playing well, when he looks good. Like when he like flips that switch, like he looks good. Mm-hmm. But the rest of the time, he was just absolutely miserable, and I didn't want him there. May as well not be on the field when he's off. I can't disagree more. Or I can't agree more with that. Like that's exactly how Gideon's been all season long. But I'm glad to see him finally like getting some consistent minutes and actually being productive with it. So and he's now got like 11 yellow cards on the season.
Yeah, something like that. But Coach didn't mention Gideon by name, but he does talk about kind of the way the season has played out, and I've got that clip right here.
Yeah. No, it's we're fortunate to be in a position where we've been in good rhythm. We're healthy, so that also provides a level of consistency from week to week. Guys have been sharp. They're enjoying the moment. I think we have a good mix in the locker room of guys that have experienced playoffs, which is really important as well. So, the biggest thing this past week was just honestly keeping it the same as it's been all season long, and trusting our process, believing in each other, and I think most importantly, you want to go into these playoffs with no regrets after and give everything you have. And again, I thought the guys did that. Yeah, obviously, proud of the guys. First off, we have to cherish these moments. It's not easy to make the playoffs. It's not easy to get a home game, and to play in front of our crowd tonight is a fantastic feeling. We felt it right from the start. Just really proud of the guys. I think that there were some things that we talked about throughout the week: emotional control, fast start, knowing who San Antonio is, and really the weight of the game and what the game meant. I thought the guys handled it well. I thought we came out really, really well. Probably could have had even more in the first half, but the first goal that we scored is really a small sample size of who we are as a group, a very collective goal. And then in saying that, the playoffs and each game's going to give us something different. And there's moments tonight where we had to suffer, we had to defend set pieces. We went to a back five at the end, but we did what we needed to do and secured a shutout, and more importantly, secured another really strong team performance and win. And
what I take away that first clip, Like if you're a basketball fan, an NBA fan from a few years ago, the Sixers had a trust the process motto when they drafted Joel Embiid, and it didn't really work for them. I'll be honest. But I think that during that swoon in the middle of the season, that's what I was talking about, was it's going to be a process. Like, you're not going to go, even though we had such a successful year, you're not going to change teams and change that many players and there not be rough spots in the process. And what we're seeing right now is, I think, the culmination of everybody working through those hard times, working, a mid-season real big kind of tough spot, and coming out the other side better and more prepared and more understanding of what Sanchez ball looks like. And when we talk about Gideon, I think he's like the poster child of that, because I don't think he knew exactly what he was supposed to be doing, and he wasn't comfortable and he looked lost. But when you get that, everybody on the same team, that goal that he talks about in that first half, it's like 17 passes. And they're kind of, they start at midfield and then they move back and then they move up and then they move back and then bam, back of the net. And so that's what we should be continuing to see. And Harry and SAFC was just kind of the sacrificial lamb to be like, this is what we can do, guys. Here you go.
Yeah, and watching some of the Sunday night games, there was a comment, I believe it was from either Devin Kerr or Mike Watts, one of the two, saying like, hey, they were talking about the result for us, and they were saying, maybe there's something to this Dennis Sanchez guy. Maybe he's, the key between what happened in Las Vegas last year and what United's doing this year. And I know there are people that have been highly critical of Dennis throughout the season.
Especially at the start. Even you guys.
I mean, I was on the hire. I was all for it.
Well, no. What, middle of the season?
I was never on the
make
Sanchez
adjustments
out. Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying Sanchez out, but if my memory's right, there was a point during the season where you guys were frustrated over the lack of communication, I guess, between the players and the coach, or just like you could tell it was off.
We had heard rumors for sure that there were some butting of heads in the locker room.
Right.
While we were hearing those rumors, though, I was also hearing pretty reliably that no, the locker room is solid. And so don't really know what was officially going on there. There was definitely Christina, she's not here, so I'm not going to speak for her necessarily, but I think of the three of us, she was definitely the most frustrated with Sanchez and stuff. I was always on the, hey, let's give it some time. There were definitely decisions that he made that I questioned, which I think
is fair.
If you're a diehard fan like we are, and you're watching every match and then coming back here and talking about every match, I think that you can obviously nitpick here and there, but some of the stuff was going on was like, I chalk a lot of it up to just injury and trying to find the right fits. And so we might have been frustrated. We weren't as frustrated as some on Facebook, which I called out. And to Cole's credit, Cole was very adamant and ridiculous about it, and he has come around. I asked him about it on Facebook this week after the win, and he's definitely on board. I personally don't think Sanchez has changed anything from when he was calling for Sanchez's head to now. We've just gotten healthy, and the system has fallen into place. But it's I asked Noel, because that kind of tough stretch kind of came right when Noel came on. It would, like, he came on and we had like a couple of decent matches, and then we hit that swoon. And so I asked him, I said, hey, we had a swoon when you first got here. Now we've turned it around and we've been on fire lately. What do you kind of attribute all that to? And this was his response.
I was actually wondering if I was bringing a curse or something, But no, you know, you always go through those kind of tough times during the year, and I think we learned from it. You know, we understood that, you know, we cannot take anything for granted. There's a lot of, you know, to win a game is hard. You know, it's not easy, and so you have to put a performance every time, every game. And so we found out, we knew what was wrong. You know, we came back together. I think it unified us even more through those struggles, and now we're in good form to perform and bring a trophy home.
So here's the stretch that, and I know most of New Mexico fans know this, but from May to basically September, New Mexico United won from May 3rd going all the way to the last match, August 30th. You guys won 3 matches, drew 3 matches, and lost 8, including 4 out of 5 from mid-June to August 9th. Along those lines here. And I think that's when the frustration, because I think I came on the show, I think in June, where you guys, you know, were kind of struggling, or no, maybe I came on in September for that here. But yeah, to me, that's the stretch where, and you guys played some quality teams. You lost at Lexington, you beat San Antonio. You lost a close match to El Paso. You lost a close match to Charleston. You got blown out at Hartford, which, you know, we kind of talked about. You got blown out in away at Tulsa. And then you came home and drew against the Lights, which I think is what I think that 3-game stretch there was really, hey, what's going on? If memory serves me right, going back between looking at the schedules.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And as Justin mentioned, Kalen Ryan was hurt that entire time. So, you know, obviously missing a significant piece there. It's not to say we weren't missing other pieces, you know, throughout there. You know, Zico being on international duty multiple times, Daniel Bruce being, you know, suffering his ACL injury.
We traded away Gaines and Herbert.
Yeah.
And lost Fernando.
Yeah, lost Fernando, and so it was the decisions to move Fernando, and then the transfers out and bringing Valentin in. Like, yeah, there were definitely questions as to what Sanchez was doing.
And I would like to point out that throughout the whole lifespan of New Mexico United, our schedule is very front heavy with home games and very back heavy with home matches. That stretch where we were struggling, I could be wrong, but I feel like there were maybe 2 or 3 home matches that entire stretch. And that's pretty much our schedule every year. And we tend to struggle in that middle stretch almost every year. Even with Quill, we didn't struggle as bad. We didn't look as bad in the losses, and we didn't lose as many matches. But there was a small dip right there in the dog days of summer, if you will.
I think this point here too is one of the reasons that people get really frustrated as well. You lose to three teams who at the time were in last place.
Well, and the frustrating thing about that, Seth, is we talked about it with Hartford, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hartford was in last place, but was not a last place quality team. And they showed that over the second half of the season, because they were on a decent run of form when we played them, but still in last place. And they went from last place in the East all the way to, they were as high as 3rd at one point, and then settled at 5th right there in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lexington was the same thing. They were in last place, but they fought for a final playoff spot towards until the last day. I'm not sure who the 3rd one was, but I know those were the 2 big ones at the time when we played them.
Oakland?
Maybe. But this league, there's a difference between like last place and Miami, Las Vegas levels of last place, because you can almost always see like a wooden spoon winner at times. But throughout this year, I mean, Miami and Vegas, I know they finished last in their respective conferences.
Actually, Birmingham finished below.
Oh, Birmingham did, huh?
Yes.
You're right. And so but they were down there. They didn't make the playoffs, even though they looked promising at times. But that's where they finished. But throughout the whole season, like if Vegas beat Lou City, I wouldn't have been shocked. Maybe at the end of the year, I would have been shocked, but not like throughout that stretch where we were struggling. I felt like anybody could have beat anybody. And it just so happened that we were dealing with injuries away from. Hey, you guys still finished sixth. Like, you had a not terrible run. But yeah, it could have happened to anybody. And I think that shows in the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you fast forward to this weekend and Lou City, Charleston, Sac, Tulsa won in extra time. And I don't know if you guys saw the save by their keeper in like the 119th minute, but it was a fantastic save. And then the defender had to clear it off the line and head it over the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were right there teetering on possibly going to pens.
But you knew it was going to be closer, though, to be fair, because Colorado Springs, I question what they did today, but
yeah,
they are a quality team. They were the defending champs. They had got blown out. They went back to Tulsa with a chip on their shoulder. To me, and we talked about it last week, that playoff soccer, it's generally going to be closer. It's going to be tighter. Especially early in the playoffs. And that's why I didn't actually make the Detroit City pick, unlike Christina. But I said this was the one round that I thought if Lou City was going to lose, it was going to be to Detroit City, just because they are that type of team in a one-game match early.
Yeah.
Has that pedigree to pull it off for that here. But to me, it's when it comes to the playoffs, it's tight, it's mistakes, and if you've got a proven goal scorer, or more importantly, what New Mexico has, and I know if you follow, Nicholas Murray, he mentioned this, that New Mexico's on an 8-game unbeaten streak, which I didn't pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
So they are that hot team that it went into the playoffs. That I don't think anybody, at least I don't remember anybody talking about New Mexico being the hot team going in.
Well, and part of that was we beat Rhode Island at the last match, but our two previous matches before that were both 3-3 draws that were just kind of wild. And so we could have even been in better form going into the playoffs. But and I think those 2 3-3 draws kind of threw people off of our streak because they kind of felt lost-ish, if you will. But yeah, us and Rhode Island before the Rhode Island match were the two hottest teams in the USL. And then now I think, I don't know if I don't want to shock anybody here, but our buddy John had New Mexico number 1 in the power rankings this week after this one, which is partly because we're the only team that scored 2 goals in the first round. I don't know if you guys saw that over on X. Devin Kerr had some people feeding him some stats, and it was like the last 7 or 8 years of first round goals. And it was like 20 or 30, 20, 20, 20, 20, or somewhere in the 20s. Last year was 19, and then this year was 6.
I was just looking for that. So yeah, dating going back to 2016, every year in the first round, there have been 20 plus goals, with the exception of last year, which was 19, and this year a 13 goal drop off. There were very nearly as many red cards this weekend as there were goals scored.
No, all the teams that lost did not score.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you kind of have to score to win most of the time.
Yeah. We go back to 2019. There were 32 goals in the first round of the playoffs. 32 goals in 4. That's four goals per game in 2019. But yeah, 6 goals, 2 of which were scored by New Mexico United, 5 red cards through 8 matches. or through
and the red cards were crazy because 4 of
Yes.
them came at the two in the
Rhode Island,
was it?
2 in Rhode Island, Charleston in like the 92nd minute, and then
96.
2 in Sacramento and Orange County.
Was it 96?
Row.
No, 106 minutes. And then
Yeah, and that one.
105th in Sacramento. In Rojo, like I said, great career, but that was a valid red card, dude. You can't wrestle punch even though you're underneath, right in front of the AR or the fourth official and the referee right there.
Those 2 were pretty valid. The Charleston, Rhode Island ones, the Josu's I thought was valid. He gets him right here.
Because it got up in the face, yeah.
But I still don't know what Kazera got his red for. I don't know if it was a second yellow, or if it was. I think it might have been a second yellow, but I didn't look.
The way the referee
reacted,
reacted, and the way you could see him saying that was 2, that's 2. So it seemed like it was a second yellow, but he never actually showed the card that I saw.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and I'm on my phone, obviously. Otherwise, I would look it up.
I'm looking it up.
But yeah,
okay,
it was a weird sequence there, and yeah, the non gets the guy up in the neck area, like it was like more like here, but you can't do that. Like you can't. It's right by the official wasn't even looking at him, so I'm assuming the fourth official or somebody said something
because
he got it for argument second yellow card.
Okay,
okay, that's what I thought. So
and,
yeah, he just
the ref
never
is looking.
Hassan got it for straight red violent conduct.
Yeah, because he like pushes him in the throat area. But yeah, it was a crazy results week that, fortunately for us, sees us hosting a Western Conference semi against Orange County next week. But I mean, so obviously Detroit City,
the potential to host all the way through.
Yes,
we know right now.
Tulsa,
yeah, we know right now if we make it to the final, we will host the final.
Yeah. So going into the weekend,
next week's the question.
Yeah, going into the weekend, United was 5th in the hosting priority for the USL Cup final. Round the results and quickly. Detroit City, the 8 seed over the 1, over Lou City, 1-0. You got Pittsburgh advancing over Hartford on penalties. You got North Carolina over Loudoun, 1-0. You've got Rhode Island upsetting Battery on penalties. So right there, you lose 2 of the top 5 teams in priority order. And then over to the west, you've got Tulsa beating Colorado 1-0 in extra time, Phoenix beating El Paso 1-0, and then obviously Orange County beating Sacramento. By the way, Jacob, you talked about bringing in a substitute goalkeeper for United.
Yeah.
What a move!
Holy cow!
That was thick.
The 4D chess in this decision to pull this keeper off.
Well, you heard why though.
Yes.
Right? Because Holy had made 1 save out of 18 attempts, I think is what the announcer said.
Mm-hmm.
So his record during the PKs, and I know the announcers at the time were like, dude, he's upset that he was coming off. I don't think he was.
He knew. The announcers went back and addressed it, and they were like, no, he knew he was taking his gloves off. But I mean, Danny with some massive stones, pun fully intended. I hope you guys appreciate that pun because I think it's freaking hilarious. Bringing in a kid to come in, and I want to address this real quick.
A local kid.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
The 3 Sacramento misses / saves. My favorite people playing for Sacramento, not Russell Cicerone, Luis Felipe, and the one and only Jack Gurr. Everybody. So 3 of my least favorite people in the USL with the 3 misses that see Orange County come into the lab. I was so excited and so happy. Just electric results all around. And then, of course, Phoenix, the one that you didn't mention yet, that we haven't mentioned yet, winning in El Paso.
That was hard.
That was like watching San Antonio play, dude. I was just like, oh my god.
That match was just so
rough.
bad. It was awful.
Rough. I do want to comment on Justin's comment here. We know Schuttler isn't really their number 1. He is their number 1. The only weakness that he has is the PKs, and if it's going to that. that's why they made the change is for that. But he is their number one goalkeeper without question.
Yeah, no,
He
it's
is.
They talked about Cicerone. I guess Cicerone hadn't played in like 6 weeks due to injury. So I mean, he looked gassed at the end of this one. I mean, he absolutely looked gassed. But yeah, all credit to the decision there by Orange County to pull the substitute keeper off the bench. Like massive performance by him. I mean, he's got to get a contract next season somewhere. Like the keeper.
The kid.
He probably stays with OC. Maybe
Probably.
he becomes their number one.
Maybe.
What's
yeah.
going to happen next year is the Shakes Tambakis situation. Shetler's going to come in, and then eventually halfway through the year, the kid's going to start and get a run of form going. But just crazy results all the way around.
But I will say, for the watch the games.
Oh, they were all awful. They were all rough.
It was tough.
Well, I take that back. Rhode Island and Charleston was exciting down the stretch, as was Sac and Orange County down the stretch. I was enthralled there, the second half and stuff. But yeah, it was the attack was nobody could win and nobody could score, as we addressed. Desert Fryer over here says El Paso's defense is awful. I agree, and yet Phoenix still did nothing offensively. Yeah. And so, I mean, it really was just kind of a strange weekend. And I understand why people are now paying attention to us, because we clearly looked like the best team out there. That doesn't mean that we're going to do anything. I'm feeling pretty confident. I was feeling pretty confident going into the playoffs, though. But
it all depends. Like, well, we haven't got to the picks yet. To me, it depends on where next week's game's played. If New Mexico advances, if it's played in Tulsa, I think it is a little bit more questionable for New Mexico, because let's be honest, you guys lost at home to Tulsa 1-0. And then I think you guys lost in Tulsa. Yeah, you lost
5-2.
in Tulsa 5-2.
5-2. So I'm still. The 5-2 match was in the middle of our swoon, and the 1-0 loss here, they scored late on a set piece.
But that's what Tulsa's doing, though.
I know. I get that. But we're still, even though the Tulsa home match is more recent than the away match, we still weren't in our groove yet. Fully. We had won a couple matches before that, but we were still like they weren't as.
You had one where you drew against the Lights, you drew against Lou City away, which was, I think, the turning point. You lost at home against Sac 2-0. You beat San Antonio. You rolled Detroit City. Then you lost because I think part of it is you played Detroit City on Wednesday, right? Yeah, you played Detroit City on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Played Tulsa on tired legs on a Saturday.
Sac, Detroit City, Tulsa were back to back Saturday or Sunday. I think it was Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, if I'm remembering right.
No, San Antonio, away at San Antonio, home against Detroit City, and home against Tulsa.
Oh, San Antonio, that's right. And so, whatever session those three were, that it was the third game.
San Antonio
in 8
match
days.
was a physical match too, though.
It was.
It was one that took a lot out of both teams. For that.
And so going in with confidence, I don't care if we're going to Tulsa. I'm not guaranteeing a win if we do that. We still got to get past Orange County. Let's be honest.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm saying here. So let's not get too.
But I'm still not like super nervous about that match.
Yeah. Well, before we get to Tulsa, as you said, we have to get past Orange County, and we've got some second round, some semifinal matches to talk about here quickly. But first, looking at our pick'em from last week, as it stands, Christina is in first place with 6 points. Jacob in second with 5.
But she's not here, so I'm winning right now. She's not here. It doesn't count. I'm winning.
Harry and myself both have 4 points. Seth,
I thought it was interesting that all of yours were the West. You got 4 points, all in the West, none in the East.
What can I say? I know the West.
Yeah, which I thought that was funny, but but yeah, it the fact that Christina has 6 right is kind of wild.
Yeah. No, that's
the only
great.
pick she
did a good
missed
job.
was Hartford,
Mm-hmm.
which Jacob was the only one that got. And then
Missed Hartford and
Loudon,
Yeah.
Hartford and Pittsburgh. She picked Hartford. Jacob, everybody else outside of Jacob picked Hartford. Jacob picked Pittsburgh. Christina picked Detroit City. The rest of us picked Lou City. I picked North Carolina, and everybody else went with Loudon. We were split on Rhode Island, 2-2. Jacob and Christina went with Rhode Island. Me and Seth went with Charleston, and I said that was my lock of the week, and so I lost my house on that one. Tulsa, we all took, and they pulled through. Jacob went with El Paso, and
yeah, I
he was
missed
the
that
only
one.
one that missed that one. I
bet
went with
you
San
didn't hear
Antonio.
from Jerry.
No, Jerry is a figment of my imagination now.
Okay.
I obviously went with San Antonio. The three of you went with New Mexico, and that's pretty self-explanatory. And we all went with Orange County. So out in the West, really the only pick that I think that was kind of outside the norm was Jacob's El Paso pick.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not going to pick against San Antonio, just like you guys wouldn't have picked against New Mexico United. In a head-to-head matchup. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look at these semifinal matchups. You've got Detroit hosting. You got Pittsburgh hosting Detroit. And every match this weekend is on Saturday. There are no Sunday matches this week, which I'm phenomenally grateful for. Soccer kicks off on Saturday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time if you're planning on watching. So keep an eye on.
It's like 5, 5:30, 6, and then us at 7, if I remember right.
Yep, and every single match is on ESPN Plus. So actually, we'll start with the early game. North Carolina FC, Rhode Island FC. This is a weird one. News came, and we'll go and talk about it now. North Carolina will not be in operation next season. They've made this announcement in the middle of their playoff run.
Well, they didn't make the announcement; it got leaked by.
Well, Tommy Two Scoops.
They did go ahead and make a statement today as well.
Well, they had to.
Tom Bogart puts out the news. North Carolina FC will not be in operation in 2026. They apparently have already told the players
2027
and 27 because they are intending to come back in 2028 and apparently have already or will be applying for Division I sanctioning. It also came out that their ownership rights, their ownership deal comes to an end with the 2025 season. So this is a wild situation. This comes out in the middle of the playoff run. This team's not going to be around next season. We've heard rumors about others, and I know North Carolina was on. I mean, I don't know if the men's club was up for sale. I know they're trying to sell the women's club last season.
It was.
And so the men's club's on sale as well. No buyers apparently, but apparently the owner's a multi-billionaire.
Yeah,
but they're wanting to wait and come back in 2028. So this is weird. The timing of all of this.
It isn't. So, and this is the problem for USL. At the current level that we're in right now, there's no money to win. There's really no growth. And I know, if you talk to any of the owners, like if you talk to Peter in New Mexico, it's one of those pet projects, you say here, because they're not making money on owning a USL championship or a USL League One team. Now, where they have the opportunity to is if they are able to get pro-rel, and if it does do what everybody says it's going to do, then you have that possibility. But currently, as we speak, because you don't get anything, there is no monetary value, to my understanding, for winning the league.
Mm-mm.
There's more monetary value winning the Jägermeister Cup than there is for winning the league.
Is that $100,000?
So, as an owner of the league, if you know, and this is what Oklahoma City's done, hey, we want to go D1. USL's not requiring you to be in the league prior to there. So you're going to have teams that come in and buy into that Division I spot. Now, by what the interesting part about this North Carolina is, by them sacrificing their licenses now, it opens up the Raleigh area to anybody. And I think that's the risk that they're taking now. The owner of North Carolina is a very wealthy person, so it's just a matter if he wants to. But from an owner's aspect, and I also think that they're going to come back and rebrand. You need a stadium. Why not save? And I'm not saying this to just as a fan, I hate it. But from an owner's perspective, I understand the why, because you're saving 2 years of expenses to be able to reinvest that money either into stadium or expand, because there'll be an expansion fee that they'll have to pay again.
Yeah, that it will, especially since they're giving up their rights. So yeah, I don't, it's weird. The news that's come out this week, and you have to feel for the players who now know that they will not be under contract, and it's going to open up a heck of a lot of names. You're going to see a lot of new names in a lot of places next season. And I saw some discussion that this may open up, the possibility of Lexington moving back to the East, or Lexington staying in the West, and Birmingham not moving anywhere, because apparently there's a rumor that Birmingham might be in the West, which I think would be absolutely stupid.
Well, I think they're going to have to, because isn't the only team coming in an Eastern team next year? I
think so.
So
or it's unbalanced. It's unbalanced somehow. I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it would have been imbalanced. So someone else either would have had to come west, or it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, Brooklyn's coming in next year.
Yeah.
So obviously they're East.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then assuming nobody else leaves, which is a big assumption, North Carolina drops, Brooklyn replaces them, Lexington stays in the West, and we move on with our lives, is what should happen. But we're not sure, one, if North Carolina is the only club that's going to stop football operations this offseason, and two, who knows, they might be like, hey, welcome whoever, and have somebody else join too. I don't know.
Well, remember, Lexington was a League One team that promoted late last year.
Yeah, I think I was pretty sure that was the plan for Lexington from the get-go, though. That's why they went out. Like, as a League One team, they spent like the third most money in the USL, period, including championships teams, as a League One team on their roster. And I think that was because they kind of knew, hey, we want to get, and they sucked. Yeah, you said. But so that was kind of the plan. I don't think I've heard anybody planning on doing that from League One this year.
Union Omaha was the only one that I think was in consideration, because they have the rights to do it, but they're going to stay in League One. But they're also moving from the baseball stadium to, I think it's Creighton's. I think that's the local university there, to the Creighton soccer plex. So they are the League One team that I think that you have to look at, that's possibly going to make the move up to USL Championship.
So, all right. Well, looking at the news, I just saw apparently a season ticket email for NCFC members. They're offering the opportunity to transfer their membership from NCFC to Courage for any season ticket holders there. I mean, I don't know if that's something anyone over there is interested in, but looking at the match this weekend with this news, how does this affect their semifinal matchup? Does this give them a bit of an extra push? As I mentioned, are they, since they're playing for potential contracts next season for other clubs, or does Rhode Island continue their yet another Cinderella run and give another upset here in the semifinal round?
I know Justin says North Carolina because of that reason. I would go the opposite route there. I think Rhode Island now has more of an edge. I reached out to the Raising Anchor podcast to get their thoughts on how they felt going into it. Before I knew what they thought going into it, But then with this news breaking this morning, I reached out and asked them. I haven't been able to check and see what they said to that, but I asked that question because I think it's got to be hard to go into that match as a team and play good team soccer to get the win. Because if you're going for contracts, then everybody's looking for me, right? They're looking out for me. They're not looking out as a collective. They're looking out for me. And so I just don't. I know the coach there. I can't remember what his name is. What's the coach's name over there, Harry? Do you know? You should know
In
this.
North
Harry,
Carolina?
you should know this. Yes.
Not off the top of my head.
I was reading earlier that he's been with the club since like 06.
Yes.
In some capacity. And I know the players love him, and he's a hell of a coach. So maybe
Daniel
that can
Saletti. Oh no, John Bradford. Pardon me, John.
Yeah,
Bradford.
John Bradford. That's it. Maybe John can get him to stay cohesive, and that's a good possibility. But when that stuff is going on off field, your mind has to be kind of distracted. And so I think with the way Rhode Island has played in the playoffs last year and this year, because I think, I don't know about you guys, but I thought they looked like the better team through the second half of Charleston and through the majority of extra time. And so going into North Carolina is not the challenge that going into Charleston is. And with this off-field stuff, I think it sets up nicely for Rhode Island.
I went with Rhode Island. I want to say it's my lock of the round, just because with North Carolina.
So bet on North Carolina, guys. If it's Harry's lock of the round, bet on North Carolina. Christina,
this is either going to go one or two ways. They're either going to bond together and go out like the San Francisco Deltas did with NASL and go out and win the title, or they're going to do, I think it was what Fresno did, where they just flamed out once the news broke for that here. And I don't think Fresno won a game the rest of the year. Well, how much at home?
How much do those players want to win a title for their owner?
Yeah,
I can't imagine they would want to. Like, they want to do it for themselves, obviously, but
you're 3 games out.
In the back of their mind, though, they have to. All it takes is that one split-second hesitation on the football pitch to create a mistake that loses you that match. Oh, that's fun, Christina. And so,
hey, we need to get Christina's picks. Tell her to.
Yeah,
give us her picks.
Put your picks in the chat. Hey, 1 second here. You good, Jeremiah? Boom.
Or are we having Jeremiah make her picks for her?
Oh, we could. I like that idea.
There we go.
Jeremiah, welcome, buddy. How are you doing? I can't hear you, Jeremiah.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, I could see it going both ways. Like I get the motivation for North Carolina to be like, oh hey, we have nothing to lose here. Like we are playing for the future. I could see that, but I could also see them to be like, F you guys, like y'all are bringing us in here last, here in the playoffs. You could have at least waited till the season was done to be like, hey, sorry, yeah, it's just it could go either way. I could see the motivation for both sides, but yeah, it's an awful situation for them to be in. Hopefully some of those players get picked up throughout the offseason. I'm sure they will.
So she picks New Mexico, Detroit. Okay.
All right.
The only one she didn't pick is Phoenix and Tulsa.
No, that's diving.
She said diving.
Phoenix diving.
Phoenix diving.
Yeah, there you are, Jeremiah.
All right.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm stuck in a dungeon, but I'm good. So you've missed a lot, Jeremiah. Real quick, how did New Mexico look to you?
The best we've been in a while.
Perfect. And then Rhode Island or North Carolina?
Rhode Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seth, is it a clean sweep for Rhode Island, or are you going North Carolina?
Yeah, no, it's Rhode Island. That's Rhode Island. No, I I respect what Rhode Island has done this year. They put a lot of work into that team, and I think we see another 7-seed advance to a final this year. So, good. I think they're the
Only
ones
one 7 seed though advancing.
only one. Yeah,
Only one, not two. One.
Nope. So yeah, clean sleep there for Rhode Island. Looking over at the other Eastern Conference match, this is the 5:30.
No, the
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
4-8.
Yeah. Yeah.
5:30. 5:30.
5:30 p.m.
Mountain.
Yeah.
New Mexico time. 5:30.
Yeah.
New Mexico.
I think you
There
mean
you go.
Mountain Time.
Yeah.
I mean
yeah.
what I mean, Harry.
We have already discussed this.
Detroit and Pittsburgh. Detroit picking up the 8-1 upset last week. Riverhounds advancing in their match as well. What are we thinking about this one? Is LaRouge, like, are they poised to do this? Could they make it an 8-7 final? Or is the not quite so Lily Ball going to come out on top?
Give me the Riverhounds. They're at home.
Jeremiah, what do you say?
Yeah, give me the Riverhounds.
Seth, what do you say?
This is tough. Like it is like Detroit City they're tough. They're a tough out. But I think Pittsburgh is better offensively than they have been. So I'm going to go Riverhounds.
Well, I'm also going to go Riverhound. So if Christina, if Christina gets this one right, she will look very, very, very smart compared to us.
Again.
But that match with Detroit City and might have to go yell at a kid here in a minute. Hold on. That match with Detroit City and Lou City were just like, Detroit stole that game where I felt like Rhode Island earned their victory a little bit more. So I'm just not super high on Detroit City going forward. But I wasn't high on them against Lou City, and that didn't work out for me either. But I got to go Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I get it. Makes sense. All right, looking over at the West in the 1-8 semifinal, you got Phoenix Rising, FC Tulsa. What are we thinking here? I know Christina's already gone diving.
1-5.
1-5. Sorry, 5-8. Not a whole lot of difference.
Potato.
Yeah, same thing. What do we think? Obviously, they're not quite as diving as when Solomon Asante was there, but it's I still think they have some issues.
You're going Tulsa?
As much as I don't want to, for the pure fact that I want that home final, I think Tulsa's by far the better team. I mean, Tulsa's going to grind stuff out. Phoenix struggles offensively. Phoenix struggles defensively. And again, the Phoenix El Paso match was just ugly. Like, it really was. Nothing there impressed me at all. It was terrible. So yeah, I'm going Tulsa.
Jacob?
I too am going Tulsa. I already talked to my wife. We are more than likely going to road trip over there if that's the case. So I would love to play at home, but I do think that Tulsa gets the win. Although I won't be upset if Phoenix somehow pulls it off and we ended up hosting Phoenix. I was joking with Andrew Bolte the other day yesterday on Facebook, though. Like, a normal game takes about a year and a half off my life, a normal playoff game. Just from the stress, except for this last one because it was so easy. Sorry, Harry.
But it was. What am I going to say as a San Antonio fan? Like, as soon as you guys scored in the 20th minute, It was over. It just we were not coming back.
But a Phoenix home Western Conference final will take 10 years off my life easily. And so, as much as I don't want it, or as much as I want it, I also don't want it for that reason. But I don't see it happening.
I will say a flight to Tulsa is far cheaper than a flight to Sacramento would have been.
Me and Andrew had this conversation too. It was like 600 right now. But if you wait, it'll probably double by the time it happens. That's why road trip, like Justin says, 10 hours. For me, it's only 8 because I'm a little bit closer.
Yeah,
so,
that's a day's drive. Easy day's drive.
Yeah, we would get up. We already planned it out. We'll get up. If it happens, we'll get up and leave Saturday morning pretty early. Get to town, check into the hotel, go to the game, go eat, go home, or go back to the hotel, get up in the morning and leave. So,
yeah, I looked at Sacramento in case that when the match was out there, it would have been like it would have been $800 something round trip.
Yeah, Justin told me after the match on Saturday, he said, "Hey, if Sacramento wins, I'm going to fly out there." And then he messaged me later and he was like, $900 to fly out there. So he said he was still going to do it, but he was really hoping Orange County won, and luckily they did.
Yeah, Justin, I saw the same exact price. I would have loved to have gone, but not for $900 for one night. Like, not counting, hotel and all like that would have been ridiculous. Yeah, it would have been like $1,000 trip for a night. Like, no thanks. All right, Jeremiah, FC Tulsa or Phoenix?
I really want Phoenix to win so we have a home game, but it's going to be, I'll say, Tulsa barely pulls it off.
Okay.
Harry,
any particular reason, or you just, think, or is it just a straight, FC Tulsa's better? As for you, Jeremiah.
Oh, what?
Wake up, Jeremiah. Wake up.
Any particular reason, or is it just you just straight across the board Tulsa? You think Tulsa's the better team?
Tulsa is just a better attacking team, and Phoenix defense is just terrible.
Makes sense. I think most of us would agree with that. Harry?
I went with Tulsa. I think Tulsa's very Louisville-like. To me, they were the Louisville light. And actually, when I did the USL predictions, I had Tulsa advancing to the final. So I am rolling with Tulsa over there. And then New Mexico and Orange County. I'm going with New Mexico by 3 goals.
Holy cow.
Dang.
I mean, to be fair, we have scored 6 goals against Orange County this season. So, and we know Orange County is susceptible defensively. Last time out, it was a 3-3 draw. I mean, Jeremiah, we'll start with you. I mean, home playoff match. United's in great form right now.
Yeah.
Orange County obviously picked up the PK win, or PK win on Sunday. Is there anything about Orange County that you're concerned about when you see them play, or is this just, hey, United is going to be comfortable at home?
Well, if they get past our back line is what I'm mainly worried. That's just the main thing that scares me. Their offense is decent, but I still think our back line's better, but it just has some work to get done.
Okay, fair enough. Who you got with your pick?
New Mexico, 3-1.
Nice.
There you go.
Sorry, Seth. I'm gonna have to go. I got to go take care of some kids. So I'll give mine real quick. 2-0 again for the good guys. I know you got some other stuff coming up with coaching changes and stuff like that, but I'll try to hop back on if I can take care of this crying kid in enough time.
Yep, no worries.
But if not, Jeremiah, thank you for coming on. Harry, thank you for coming on. Thank everybody over in the chat, and you guys can take it from here. Sorry, I'll hopefully be back. Thanks, guys.
No, you're good. You're good.
Went 2-0 as well.
There you go.
Put 2-0 in the chat. I guess I should.
Yeah. So it's, again, United at home. This is going to be, a great another great opportunity for some great atmosphere. Over 8,200 fans were at the lab last Saturday. Numbers felt light, but the crowd was there. The
I thought
crowd
there was
loud.
more.
Yeah, it was weird. I will say there was a shot from that center field camera where it looked like there were a lot of empty seats behind home plate, but there's a lot going on in and around the area. I think this weekend is going to be a little bit better in terms of activities. I think there's some basketball earlier in the day, but other than that, I think it should be a great opportunity for United.
So let's not forget, Orange County loses one of their top midfielders, winger, depending on where he's at, and Chris Haggart, who got the red card here. So that's part of the reason why I think New Mexico wins. Now, I will say the last time I was this confident about New Mexico, they went to Hartford and did not get off the bus. So
yes,
I think that was the last time I was on with Jeremiah as well.
Yep.
So maybe we should revisit that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously, Haggart picking up the red card. The last time out, Haggart was a handful for United.
Yes.
And so I think that's gonna be a huge thing for them to lose him. Obviously, I mean, between him and Roro, I mean, I think I'd rather not face Haggart at this point. But
23-year-old compared to somebody that's 40, almost 40ish.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And
late 30s, anyways.
A Cicerone coming back from injury and all that type of stuff. But yeah, Haggart's going to be a huge loss for them. He was really dynamic for them out of the midfield throughout that match. He was involved in quite a number of plays and attempts on goal the last time we played at the lab. So that's a huge loss for them. And I don't think Shuttler is as good as some other goalkeepers. And again, obviously he's already given up 6 to United this year. So I think if United continues to play the way that they are, we're going to be in the Western Conference final next week. So I'm going United. It's going to be a comfortable, I don't know. I'm like it's comfortable 2-0 again. We give that one the clean sweep there. So really looking at our picks, Christina could pick up a couple more points on all of us.
Or she comes back to the back.
Yeah. Or she comes back. Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, again, looking at the schedule this week, soccer kicks off at 5 p.m. Mountain Time on Saturday.
Come on. Hold on. It's got to be New Mexico time. Come on. This is Jacob's show. Got to do it right. Fill in for him.
Jacob is not here. So this is the.
Well, as the El Presidente of Jacob show of Team Jacob, it is New Mexico time. Just to make him proud.
There you go. North Carolina FC hosting Rhode Island FC. That starts at 5 p.m. New Mexico time on Saturday. You got Riverhounds kicking off a half hour later, and then at 6 o'clock New Mexico time, FC Tulsa and Phoenix Rising. Around halftime, give or take, we may know what's going to happen for the Western Conference final. So it'll be interesting to see what that happens. We don't have timing yet. We do have the kickoff time for the championship final. Harry, you said you gave this in our group chat, and Jeremiah will get your point of view on this here in a minute. Noon Eastern time, no matter where the final is on the 22nd. I mean,
from a league aspect, you have to do it because you're on big CBS. So over the air CBS, you have to, it's not even up for discussion. The issue is that in New Mexico, that's so it's 10 o'clock in New Mexico time, correct?
Yep.
Now what that means, bring out the flat grill, some pancakes, eggs, bacon, sausage, green chilies.
Yeah, maybe we get Pete and Ron out there flipping some pancakes and serving them up. That'd be. I mean, don't get me wrong. A cooked breakfast.
If you were in San Antonio, we could say breakfast tacos, but in New Mexico, I think you call them burritos. I don't think you guys call them tacos, but
No, you got legit burritos, man. So I mean, so Jeremiah, obviously your initial reaction was ew.
Yes.
So what about this kickoff time for the championship final gives you that visceral reaction?
Well, everyone's not going to be awake immediately to get to the stadium.
Right? We have enough trouble getting
Like
people to the game at 7:00.
7,
So
10 o'clock, no one's going to be there.
yeah.
it's on a last year was on a Sunday, same time on a Sunday. This one's at least on a Saturday. So if you're a away fan, you fly in or drive in Friday. You have the ability to come in, and then you can fly back out either Saturday night or Sunday. And to me, as a fan, local fan there, having it during the day, number one, depending on the weather, it's maybe warmer right at that point compared to 7:00 at night, 7:30 at night.
Potentially. I mean, it was almost 80 degrees here today.
So weather-wise, assuming it's not, stormy weather, it should be nice and sunny, should be fall-like. It should be, 70, 80-ish on average?
70s, yeah.
So it's, as I know my son loves playing in the weather at that point just because it's the perfect weather to play. So from an athlete, from a player's perspective, probably not that bad. And let's be honest, I'm not sure if Jeremiah plays soccer, but if you're out playing club soccer or rec soccer, you're out as early as 7, 8, or 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Out on the fields. And yes, there are some days where you're a little bit slow to react, but I can guarantee for a title, I doubt you're going to have that issue, or you better not have that issue. I guess.
Justin may be right. Yeah, maybe closer to like mid 50s, upper 50s at 10 a.m. But yeah, it's been a fairly warm week, so I don't know. I haven't looked to see what the like the 14-day forecast is, or what that looks like. But
you got to get past the Orange County first. So
yeah, got to get past Orange County. You got to get through there first before anything happens. But I mean, Jeremiah, what's your overall take on the weekend? Did you get to watch anything other than United? Did you see? Were there any other matches that stood out to you from the first round?
The Lou City game, that one shocked me. I was trying to score every time. At half at the United game, I was like checking the Lou City score. And then Detroit, that was the fact that they pulled that off was insane. And Sacramento.
I absolutely. Some big results there. Obviously, some favorable results, and we go again this week. And unlike other teams, we still have a coach.
El Paso fired theirs.
Yeah, they parted ways with Wilmer Cabrera down in El Paso. Little brother was without a coach. And then also Colorado Springs announced today their sporting director and their head coach are out in Colorado Springs.
That's the bigger surprise, though.
Yes, these are. I mean, I didn't expect Wilbur to go anywhere, but of the two, I'm definitely least surprised by that one. I mean, given the fact El Paso made the playoffs again, was it a great season? No, not by any stretch of the imagination for them. But they were in the playoffs. They got a top 4 seed. They get the home match. To me, this almost seems like a mutual parting of ways. It's not. I don't think I fired him. I think this is a mutual thing, and he's moving on somewhere else. Justin's got a great question. Does Andy Cabrera stay?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
He's went with his dad outside of going to Europe.
50-50.
And he's not on a multi. I don't believe he came in on a multi-year deal.
I don't think so either. We'll see if we can look that up while we're talking. But yeah, it's so El Paso's without a coach. Colorado Springs obviously without a coach. I mean, Colorado Springs won the championship last year. You make the playoffs again. Poor results this year, not where you want to be, getting the 8. But this is a weird situation here. I don't understand this one. Is there something they were missing?
Is Colorado Springs reducing the budget again?
It was a shocking thing. I wasn't expecting to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's to me the only thing is are we looking at teams that are cutting expenses and that's the way that they're looking to do it? Because performance wise, yeah, Colorado Springs had a down year, but they just won the title. And unlike San Antonio, they did make the playoffs the following year. Like San Antonio won in 2022. No, wait, we missed in 24. But we took a step back in 23 and then missed in 24. But they won it last year. Now, they weren't a top seed for that year. I question the move just because the coach is a quality coach. The sporting director, I don't know enough to comment one way or another on him, but if he delivered a star, it's hard to say, hey, after the next year where you do make the playoffs, you are out now. Maybe it just wasn't a fit. I don't know. Maybe there's another place that he's heading to, but to me, it does raise some questions.
That it does. Looking at these moves, I mean, I know we've talked about it in the past couple of weeks. Is there any concern that you mentioned cost cutting moves? I can't imagine. And obviously, the coaches probably make, I would say low six. Low six figures. It's not a huge contractual cost, I would think. And I didn't see anything about them renegotiating his contract after last season, so I don't know what that would have been. Of these teams are losing coaches, and I imagine there are more with coaches on the hot seat, such as Las Vegas. You have to think Birmingham and Miami also have coaches on the hot seat after some really poor seasons there. Is there a sign that there may be bigger issues with some of these clubs like El Paso, or
we've talked about El Paso. They have the problem with El Paso. Number one, Andrew Forrest. It doesn't seem like the dude's got like 9 lives. He sticks around even though managers come and go. Number two, there is zero stadium discussion for El Paso. And for USL, and I don't know if it's changed, the stadium getting out of baseball was a huge driver for that. Number three, they were very RGV-like as far as on their communications this year. Their communications, and I know, it's a frenemy podcast to you guys, but, I enjoy them. Seriously, Loco, their relationship has gone sour quick. Just they don't get well, number one, they don't put out the same amount of content. Number two, they don't get the same amount of access that they used to for whatever reason for that here. So to me, I don't think we're just entering the silly season right now. Who knows if a team doesn't do what North Carolina does, because let's not forget what North Carolina did. They were in USL Championship. They went down to League One, came back up, and are taking a break. What's to say that El Paso or even Colorado Springs decides to go down to League One? Not fold, but go down to League One to reduce costs.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. And I mean, obviously with League One, they would be paired more closely geographically with other clubs. I think who else just there was a League One club, Texoma.
Well, Texoma went self-relegated to League Two.
Yeah, so they dropped down as well.
They dropped down, but they were having issues with that. Yeah, well, with Lubbock Matadors. But League One is exploding with teams. I forget. I think they're going to double next year.
Sounds right. Andy Cabrera, meanwhile, was on a 1-year deal.
I don't think that he returns back to New Mexico personally.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, it's just yeah, he said silly season's just starting. There's probably gonna be a handful of other changes.
So you got Boise coming in, you got the Cosmos coming in. I think they're coming in next year, right? Corpus Christi,
Christie.
here in San Antonio. Texoma's dropping down. Fort Lauderdale, Fort Wayne, Port St. Lucie, Sarasota, and Sporting Cascade, which is the Spokane team, I think, right?
I think so.
Stadium info.
So let's see. Sarasota.
No,
Sarasota's in
that's
2026.
Sporting Cascades is Oregon.
Okay.
In Eugene. So they're gonna have more teams coming in. It'll just be interesting. The Dallas team's launching in 26 or 27. Yeah. Same time, Oklahoma City's supposed to be back.
Yeah.
Around that time, depending on their stadium.
Looking at the Wikipedia here, Boise, Corpus Christi, Fort Lauderdale, Fort Wayne, Cosmos, Sarasota, Cascades, and Port, all in 2026, Port St. Lucie in 2027. Yeah, that's a lot of teams joining next season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, then you've got Dallas, you've got Brooklyn. There's so many teams joining across the USL. You've got Space Coast, Space Coast, Coast to Coast. You've got Treasure Coast. You've got Pirate Island. You've got all these things, and maybe Port. Someone mentioned Hearts of Pine potentially jumping up. Like, there's so many moving parts, and then you got USL announcing. They brought in what's his name?
A guy from the Premier
League. Yeah. To be the president of the new, Division One. I don't know. There's so many moving parts here, and there's still a lot up in the air. I mean, obviously we're going to talk about this over the next couple of seasons until promotion, relegation, and the D1 sanctioning is here. I mean, as fans, and Jeremiah, I'll ask you, like, how important is it for the USL to get this right? The implementation of pro rel and a Division One sanction, if they even get to that point.
I think they'll get to it. I think it'll do good. The amount of teams that League One's getting, they're gonna want to get promoted. I don't really know how it's gonna go. It could either go good or it could go bad.
Sporting Jacks just appointed Liam Fox as their first head coach. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Harry, between clubs folding and pro rel and all these things going on, I mean, does the league, does the USL as a whole feel like it's on solid footing, or there's still, is it I've seen people saying, well, maybe they're not vetting leadership, these ownership groups enough. Where are we at with this? Like,
yeah. So the issue isn't the vetting for the most part. Because take North Carolina as an example. It's not an issue of not having money.
Mm-hmm.
He's got money. We can go back to Reno. Reno was an issue of the owners not having money. They had money. They just didn't want to keep investing it into the league. And the person that's coming over, Tony Scholes, the chief football officer of the English Premier League, and he was a former CEO of Stoke City, will be the new Division One Pro League president. However, tidbit on that, because it got scooped as well, that actually doesn't start till the end of 2026 when the EFL season or pardon me, the Premier League ends. So it's not an immediate hire for that here. So, but to me, and Cody Lorendry pointed this out, USL's got to figure out how to help the existing teams.
mm-hmm.
because they're good on bringing new teams in and collecting the expansion fees, but to keep the current teams to be able to help supplement them. And we talked about this earlier. That's the issue for USL. Let's also not forget players. The players agreement goes away this or not, it expires this year.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that issue as well. So as much as USL is moving forward, they've got to take a couple of steps this off season, or next few off seasons, to say stabilize. Because if you followed US soccer at all, outside of MLS, no club is safe. And I put New Mexico United, I put San Antonio in there as well, because if Peter decided, hey, I've invested what I'm willing to invest, let's be honest, not a lot of people are buying opportunities. Now, I think both locations, if current ownership decided to pack it up, would have another owner or team that steps in. Now, whether it's at championship or a different level, that would be a whole separate discussion.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in lower league US soccer, there is no guarantees. I would never, ever guarantee a team to be back. Because let's not forget, Reno was a successful team, and the owner said, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that they were. Yeah, a lot of work to be done. And I will say quickly, one thing that the USL Championship is doing and is doing well is they're offering a scholarship program for former players and coaches to get additional licensing. Among current players current or former players who have done this, David Estrada now has his Senior A license thanks to the USL Championship coaching scholarship program. He's finished that up. He has a Senior A. Alexis Swahi has his B license, and we know Daniel Bruce is going through the licensing process as well. So, the USL is making strides in some ways, but in others, how do you solidify the league? And maybe it's sponsorship, like Justin says. You see the Gamebridge Super League. I don't know how much money they're making off of that, but or how much they're making off the Jägermeister Cup and from the sponsorship there, because obviously they don't release those details. But maybe it does need to be, maybe the league does need to be sponsored. I don't know. Man, that's just one way to do it. You've got sponsorships and every other thing. You got yellow cards, corner kicks, saves, kickoffs, ball delivery, all that type of stuff at the club level. Why can't you have those things at the league level? Put something on the score bug on every single match. USL Championship brought to you by whatever. I don't know. But we need MGM Caesars to step in and throw some money down their betting programs. Can we not bring sports betting into soccer? Can we? The Premier League is having enough issues with that. There. Yeah, it's already there. But Premier League's having issues. NFL is having issues. NBA obviously having issues with sports betting. So let's not go that route. But yeah, I think that's about it. Anybody have anything they want to throw out here tonight? Jeremiah, you got anything you want to bring up?
Not really. Just excited for the game.
Can't say I love you.
My only thoughts with Thanksgiving coming up, like I said here, keep in mind, I know locally here in San Antonio, and I know also in New Mexico, some families may not be able to provide as much as hopefully our families can.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the ability to help others to do so, local food banks along those lines here, this is the start of the season to really kind of look at that to see if that's possible, just so that way our family, friends, local citizens in the community and state can have a good Thanksgiving with family and friends.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and with the state of things are, and we don't want to get too political with all this, especially with the issues with SNAP benefits and WIC and all of that. Like, please check in on your neighbors, check in on the individuals who have young kids or are on fixed incomes, and check in with them. Offer to buy them a meal, invite them into your home, sit down and have a meal over the Thanksgiving season. Something, help out. Donate to your food banks if you're more comfortable doing that. Food banks are always in need of additional funds and volunteers and donations of any kind. Roadrunner Food Bank is huge here, and there are a couple others. St. Francis over in Rio Rancho does a phenomenal job as well. So please, yeah, I can't agree more, Harry. Thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, so I think that's gonna do it for all of us here. Reminder, semifinal weekend kicks off 5 p.m. New Mexico time this weekend. Every game will be on ESPN Plus. If you're not out at out of the lab, that match is going to be at 7 o'clock New Mexico time. ESPN Plus 1017 The Team. I don't know if that one's on Sirius XM. I don't think it is. I think that's the other one. But yeah, Pittsburgh is going to be on Sirius XM. But yeah, get out to the lab. Let's see if we can get 10,000 out there for the semifinal and cheer these guys on to another win. Hey, Earl, thanks for popping in, buddy. Hey, we mentioned you last week. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. If there's anything we can do, let us know. I know you've been streaming on Twitch some lately. If there's anything we can do, let us know. You've got our numbers. Feel free to reach out at any point. Hopefully you and Marlena and the kids are well. So we're here if you need us. Okay. Yeah. So huge thank you tonight to Harry for being here, to Jeremiah, for Christina popping over in the chat, Andy, Justin, the mute, Josh was here, Mama Christina, Space Kid was here, Jane popped in for a little while. Thank you, Jane, for being there. Desert Friar, Luis, thank you guys all so much. We do appreciate each and every one of you. Jacob as well for being here. I know he had to hop off and go take care of some things. Yeah, thank you guys all so much for being here. Earl, I've been there, completely understand. But yeah, like I said, we're all here. If you need us, just give us a yell. But yeah, Saturday night. Other than that, we will be back here next Tuesday night, 8 o'clock New Mexico time, to recap the semifinal matches, talk about the finals, and what else is going on in silly season as it comes up. So for everyone, thank you guys so much. We'll be on your podcast feeds later this week. And until next time, Somos Unidos.